Let's go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Heartland Highlight Reel for Wednesday, September the 10th, 2025. My name is Dave Little, and we are recording from the Dave Cave with a recap of a very exciting show that took place on Wednesday night. Brought to you by the superstars of Patriot Championship Wrestling from the Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Also tonight, we will have a preview of tomorrow's upcoming pay-per-view broadcast, The Hype Show. Heartland Havoc 131 Last Ride will take place in New Orleans tomorrow. We'll get into all of that action, but first let's cover what happened in Toronto on Wednesday night. Very exciting show from the Maple Leaf Gardens. The show featured not one but two major upsets in the Patriot Tag Team division. First of all, it was these two men, the Mongols, Bolo Mongo and Guido Mongo, getting the victory, surprisingly so, over the returning duo of Mr. Wrestling 1 and Mr. Wrestling 2. Boy, the fans in Toronto so excited to see the return of Wrestling 1 and Wrestling 2. But the Mongols would not be denied as they beat down Mr. Wrestling 2 on the arena floor. Guido Mongol with a very brutal assault on Mr. Wrestling 2. Mr. Wrestling 1 did his best to intervene and was unsuccessful in doing so as Guido pinned Mr. Wrestling 2 in Toronto. Also in the tag team division, the debut of a brand new tag team, Thunderbolt Patterson, with his partner Pepper Gomez. And it was Gomez and Patterson with a shocking upset victory over former Patriot Tag Team champions Bruiser Brody and Jimmy Snuka. Wow, the chemistry between Patterson and Gomez was impeccable. Brody and Snuka may have a little bit of lethargy after losing their titles and losing twice to the Road Warriors, as it was Thunderbolt Patterson with a series of headbutts on Bruiser Brody that weakened Bruiser and enabled Patterson to take the pinfall after a third headbutt. So congratulations to the exciting new team of Pat Patterson and Pepper Gomez for their incredible victory over Bruiser Brody and Jimmy Snuka. Also in action in Toronto, it was this man, Vader, accompanied as always by Percy Pringle, getting a big victory over Hercules Hernandez in a battle of the powerhouses. They went back and forth. They stiffed each other pretty good before Vader pinned Hercules using the release powerbomb. Next up, we had two qualifying matches in the Patriot singles division. First of all, it was this man, the Nebraska Tiger Man, John Pesek, getting a win over the Destroyer using the Tiger Man toe hold. And in another qualifying match, it was this man, Bruno Sammartino, picking up the win over Harley Race in a very rugged battle. Race did a lot of damage to Bruno early in that match. Bruno came back with a bear hug, weakening Harley Race and finally forcing him to submit to the bear hug. And next month in Patriot Championship Wrestling, it will be these two men, John Pesek and Bruno Sammartino, squaring off in a number one contenders match for a shot at the current Patriot Heavyweight Champion, the one and only Buddy Rogers. Next, we had a number one contenders match for the Patriot Tag Team Championship, won by this team, the team of Dutch Savage and his partner Stan Stasiak. Stasiak and Savage, boy, the tag team division in Patriot Championship Wrestling is in a shambles. The champions, the Road Warriors, have pretty much taken over and put aside any meaningful challengers. And the only two teams left standing were the team of Savage and Stasiak and the team of Tom Pritchard and Chris Candido. And it was Patriot, it was Stasiak and Savage, Dutch Savage especially, living up to his name, doing plenty of damage to Dr. Tom Pritchard. And finally, it was Savage putting away Pritchard with a running pile driver to earn the team of Stan Stasiak and Dutch Savage a title match against the Road Warriors. Not sure if that is something that they will look forward to, but these two men take a backward step from no one, and I'm sure they will be ready and waiting to bring the fight to the Road Warriors with the Patriot Tag Team Championship on the line. In our main event at Maple Leaf Gardens, it was the North American Heavyweight Championship on the line. Reigning and defending champion Kurt Angle stepping in against Johnny Valentine. Valentine, as always, accompanied by the ubiquitous James J. Dillon. And on this night, it was Valentine's night. Kurt Angle did a lot of damage with some German suplexes, but once Valentine got loose and got those atomic skull crushers going on Angle, that was all she wrote. Atomic skull crusher applied by Johnny Valentine, spurred on by the interference of James J. Dillon that turned the tide in that match. After an out-of-the-ring confrontation, it was Valentine taking the momentum and scoring the victory to become the new North American Heavyweight Champion here in Patriot Championship Wrestling. History made in Toronto. All right, so that is our recap of the show in Toronto. Next up, September 13th, it will be a pay-per-view broadcast, a hype show, a Heartland YouTube production event coming to you live from New Orleans, Louisiana. The UNO, the University of New Orleans Lakefront Arena, playing host to Heartland Havoc 130. One Last Ride is the title of that pay-per-view, and it is going to be a doozy. Lots of action in store for you. Starting off with these two men, Dan Severn and Ronnie Garvin. These two have been on the warpath. They have been after the team of Whatever We Want. And of course, last time the Pro Wrestling Mid-America was on the air, it was a wild double disqualification, double countout in Houston 2 weeks ago as Severn and Garvin took on the surprise team of Ole Anderson and his nephew Brock Anderson. And Brock Anderson, of course, acquitted himself very nicely in that match, but it ended up in a wild double countout. Dan Severn got a head full of stitches after a megaphone shot from Jimmy Hart, so Severn and Garvin are on the warpath. And frankly, we don't know who will step up for the faction Whatever We Want. Ole Anderson and Stan Hansen are already booked for a tag team title match. Stan Hansen, of course, still injured, and we'll get back into that. Barry Windham on bad terms with Jimmy Hart and the members of 3W, so we don't know who will step up for the duo of Whatever We Want, as they have to face Severn and Garvin in the opening contest at tomorrow's pay-per-view. Following that, a very emotional grudge match as Ted DiBiase does battle against Larry Hennig. You say, why would these two be going to war with each other? Heel on heel in a grudge match. And it all comes down to this man, Curt Hennig. Curt Hennig recently signed on to become part of the DiBiase faction. Curt Hennig made a request to DiBiase to bring his father, Larry Hennig, into the faction, and DiBiase declined. Not only did DiBiase decline to bring Larry Hennig into his faction, he made some comments about the wrestling ability and the overall suitability of Larry Hennig. He said that his faction is too good for a ham and egger like Larry Hennig to be part of that faction. Curt Hennig, that did not sit well with him, and that definitely did not sit well with Larry Hennig, who made the challenge for a no disqualification grudge match which will go down tomorrow in New Orleans. I don't think any of these men are looking forward to that. But Larry Hennig, his pride was wounded. He made the challenge, and the contracts have been signed for Larry Hennig versus Ted DiBiase tomorrow night in New Orleans. Also on that show, it will be the Atlantic Tag Team Championships on the line, as the champions, the reigning champions, Mr. Saito and Mr. Fuji, as always, under the watchful eye of Nikita Breznikov, take on a very game set of challengers. I'm sure New Orleans will erupt when they are joined by the wild-eyed Southern boys Tommy Rich and Tracy Smothers. Rich and Smothers are coming after the belts in New Orleans, and that should be a good one. Also in New Orleans, the vacant Lone Star Heavyweight Championship from Pro Wrestling Mid-America will be decided in a 12-man battle royal. That belt was vacated by Kevin Steen when Steen won the World Heavyweight Championship. So the Lone Star Heavyweight Championship is up for grabs, and 12 men from Pro Wrestling Mid-America will be competing for that title, including this man, Sergeant Slaughter, his longtime hated rival, the Iron Sheik, one of the most popular men in Pro Wrestling Mid-America, Diamond Dallas Page, a new face in Pro Wrestling in Mid-America, this man, John Layfield, will be in that battle royal, plus 2 mystery entrants, and a half dozen other men from around Pro Wrestling Mid-America will be competing in an over-the-top battle royal to decide the new Lone Star Heavyweight Champion. We are definitely looking forward to seeing that. Also coming from the Atlantic Wrestling Federation, the Atlantic Heavyweight Championship will be on the line as the title holder, Nick Aldis, comes to New Orleans, but he will face stiff competition indeed as Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and his pile driver come calling, looking for Atlantic gold. And finally, not one but 2 World Championship matches will go down tomorrow night in New Orleans at the One Last Ride Hype event. And both of these will be rematches of brutal contests that took place at our last Hype show in Pittsburgh, back on August 9th. The NWA World Tag Team Championship will be on the line as your reigning and defending champions, the team of Beautiful Bobby Eaton and Sweet Stan Lane, the Midnight Express, accompanied as always by Jim Cornette, will take on the challengers once again, Ole Anderson and Stan Hansen, under the watchful eye of Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South. These 4 men mixed it up in Pittsburgh in a match that ended in a wild brawl and was thrown out as a double count out. The brawl continued, and Stan Hansen actually got dropped neck first onto the steel security railing at ringside. He suffered a whiplash injury to his neck. He is wrestling hurt, but he is wrestling. Jimmy Hart appealed to the Heartland Championship Committee, and they said, "No, sir, Mr. Hart, you cannot substitute in a world title match. It's got to be the men who qualified for the world title match in that match." So Stan Hansen, with his bad neck and all, is coming to New Orleans with his partner, Ole Anderson, to take on the Midnight Express once again with the world titles on the line. And in your main event, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. The new champion, crowned last month in Pittsburgh, is this man, Kevin Steen. I don't know where I keep getting Houston from. Last month's pay-per-view was in Pittsburgh, and it was in Pittsburgh that Kevin Steen picked up the NWA World Heavyweight Championship with a hard-fought and well-deserved victory over the former champion, Pat Patterson. And as you may recall, it has been a very long and brutal series of matches between Steen and Patterson leading up to that showdown in Pittsburgh. And Patterson had to win his way back into a rematch defeating Jackie Fargo to earn this title shot tomorrow night in New Orleans. That will be your main event. Kevin Steen, Pat Patterson, NWA World Heavyweight Championship. All right, so it is currently Friday night. We will be on the air Saturday night, probably a little later in the evening. At 6 o'clock Central tomorrow, the Ohio State Buckeyes come on, and I want to catch at least the first half of that game. They're playing the Ohio Bobcats. It'll probably be a very strong performance for the Buckeyes, much like last week against Grambling. So probably around 7:30, 8 o'clock Central Time, I would guess we will hit the airwaves with the next pay-per-view broadcast, The Hype Show. Heartland Havoc 130, one last ride from New Orleans. So we will see you all tomorrow night. And here from the Dave Cave, on behalf of the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network, this is Dave Little signing off. That's our stream, and I am out of here.